Domino's Pizza on Monday posted a surprise decline in first quarter same-store sales in the U.S. as elevated inflation and economic uncertainty hit consumer appetite for restaurant food.
This morning, fast food companies are scrambling to plug leaking profits fueled by the pandemic and rising costs.
If you've ever ordered Domino's thinking it was a quick, harmless dinner fix, you might want to hit pause, because what's really inside that pepperoni pizza and behind the company that delivers it isn't just greasy cheese and tomato sauce. It's a story of hidden chemicals, global scandals, and dangerous shortcuts that could change how you see one of the world's most popular pizza chains forever. Keep watching, because what you're about to learn might make you think twice the next time that delivery box shows up at your door. Domino's advertises its dough as fresh, hand-stretched, and made in-store every day. But if you've ever wondered how they manage to make thousands of pizzas across the globe every hour, here's the reality they don't talk about. That fresh dough isn't as fresh as you think. In many stores, it's delivered pre-mixed from regional commissaries, frozen or chilled with preservatives that stretch its shelf life far beyond what any homemade recipe would allow. Even more disturbing is what's inside. Several food ingredient audits have confirmed that Domino's dough may contain L-cysteine, a common dough conditioner used to make bread softer and easier to stretch. What's wrong with that? It's often sourced from human hair or duck feathers. That's right, your pizza crust might be chemically softened with animal byproducts or even industrial waste derivatives, depending on the supplier and region. But it doesn't stop there. Employees have reported that in some locations, expired dough is reballed, re-oiled, and reused, even if it's lost its elasticity or developed a sour smell. If it wasn't green or moldy, it went back into the make line, one former worker shared in a whistleblower thread online. The goal? Reduce waste, maximize output, hit the corporate metrics, no matter what ends up in the customer's mouth. And while Domino's insists this is all within FDA limits, the question isn't just what's legal, it's what's ethical. When the crust is your foundation, shouldn't it be something you can actually trust? But if you think that's unsettling, wait until you hear what's going on with their cheese. Because what's bubbling on top might not be what you bargained for. You see it stretch on commercials. You hear it sizzle when it hits the crust. Domino's mozzarella is practically a character of its own. But here's the twist. What you're biting into might not even be real cheese. While Domino's claims to use 100% mozzarella, the fine print tells a murkier story. Many stores use what's called a pizza cheese blend, a cost-cutting combination of low-moisture mozzarella, filler oils, and in some cases, cellulose. What's cellulose? It's a plant fiber often derived from wood pulp, used as an anti-caking agent. That's right, you might be sprinkling powdered tree fiber on your pizza without even knowing it. Why do they do it? Because pure dairy is expensive. By blending real cheese with cheaper additives, Domino's can maintain that gooey melt and stretchy pull while saving millions in production costs. And it's not technically illegal. As long as the mix meets certain thresholds, they're allowed to call it cheese on the label. But here's where it gets more concerning. Some overseas operations of Domino's were caught using cheese substitutes that contain palm oil, processed starches, and modified milk proteins, especially in markets where dairy is more expensive. And even in the US, employee accounts suggest occasional substitutions when stores run low on standard ingredients. If we were out of mozzarella, one former manager confessed, we just mixed in whatever we had and hoped no one would notice. So that creamy, bubbling topping that looks like cheese, it might be a carefully engineered imitation, crafted to fool your eyes, your taste buds, and your wallet. But cheese is just one layer of the problem, because underneath it all lies a meat industry secret Domino's really doesn't want you asking about. Coming up next, the shocking truth behind their toppings. If you've ever bitten into a Domino's meatza or pepperoni-loaded pie and thought, wow, this is packed with flavor, you're not wrong. But that flavor might be coming from places you'd never expect. Because the meat on Domino's pizzas isn't just meat, it's a chemically engineered blend of fillers, flavor enhancers, and mystery ingredients that many customers would be horrified to learn about. Let's start with the sausage. Most people assume it's ground pork or beef, but Domino's sausage, especially the kind used on pan and specialty pizzas, is often pre-cooked and frozen with a long list of added ingredients like textured vegetable protein, MSG derivatives, and sodium phosphate, which helps it retain water and appear juicy. One supplier report even listed natural flavoring that wasn't natural at all, but a synthetic compound used to mimic meat taste. Then there's the pepperoni. One investigative journalist called it a fat puck sprayed with color. Why? Because Domino's pepperoni can contain more soy protein, concentrate, and pork fat than actual lean meat. It's mechanically processed to hold its shape, dyed to keep its red tone, and sometimes sprayed with preservatives to prevent it from looking greasy. Not to make it healthier, just prettier on camera. Even more disturbing, some whistleblower employees have claimed that meat toppings were occasionally stored improperly or reheated after hours on multiple shifts, especially during rush periods when inventory was low. "If it wasn't slimy, we served it," one worker wrote anonymously. You'd think a company this massive would hold itself to a higher standard. But when the bottom line is profit, cutting corners isn't just likely, it's expected. And as we peel back the layers, things only get worse. Because while the ingredients are shocking, the treatment of the workers handling them reveals a whole other side of Domino's, one that could put lives at risk. Coming up next, what really happens behind the counter and how Domino's speed obsession is pushing employees past their breaking point. Domino's has built its brand around one core promise: speed, fast delivery, fast prep, fast satisfaction. But behind that promise is a workforce that's being pushed far beyond its limits. The truth is, while customers are watching the clock on their tracking app, the people making and delivering that pizza are watching their bodies and mental health fall apart. Let's talk about drivers. In many areas, delivery workers are paid below minimum wage, relying on tips to make up the difference. They're expected to rush orders through rain, snow, traffic, and dangerous neighborhoods, all to shave a few seconds off the delivery time. One driver said, "I got into 2 accidents in a month, but if I took longer, I got written up." The pressure isn't just intense, it's unsafe. And it's not just on the road. In the kitchens, team members are trained to move like machines, assembling pizzas in seconds, memorizing time targets, and multitasking under hot ovens and constant stress. During peak hours, some workers have reported skipping breaks entirely, staying on their feet for 8 to 10 hours straight, often without meals. And if you're short-staffed, good luck. We were told to just make it work. No backup, no rest. Domino's corporate culture rewards managers who hit labor cost goals and fast service times, but that often comes at the cost of burned out, underpaid, and disposable employees. One former franchise manager admitted, "If you couldn't keep up, they just replace you. No warning, no support, just gone." It's a system that runs on hustle, fear, and silence. Because if you speak up, you're labeled a problem. But the problems aren't just in the US. Around the world, Domino's has faced some of its biggest scandals yet, from labor lawsuits to rodent-infested kitchens. And in the next section, we're taking you inside those global disasters. Think the issues with Domino's stop at your local store? Think again. Because while the brand keeps a clean image in the West, the real chaos is playing out overseas. And it's more disturbing than most people realize. Let's start in India, one of Domino's fastest-growing markets. In 2022, a horrifying video went viral showing rats crawling inside a Domino's dough station at a central food preparation hub. Not just one rat, dozens nesting, climbing into open containers, even gnawing on ingredients. The footage exploded across Indian media. Domino's first tried to downplay it as a rare incident, but follow-up investigations revealed multiple hygiene violations and a pattern of unchecked contamination at supplier facilities. Customers were outraged, yet no major recall happened. Then there's Australia. Domino's faced a legal storm after several franchisees were caught underpaying workers, especially immigrants, by thousands of dollars. Many were paid below minimum wage, denied overtime, and threatened with visa issues if they complained. A whistleblower from inside Domino's corporate shared leaked emails showing executives knew about the problem and still allowed those stores to operate without penalties. The scandal grew so large it triggered a national review of Australia's entire fast food sector. In Japan, a separate expose revealed that Domino's used misleading marketing to suggest their cheese was locally sourced and all natural. Turns out, much of it was imported frozen from mass factories in other countries. Customers were outraged by the deception, especially in a culture that prizes food purity. All of these scandals had one thing in common. Domino's did everything possible to keep them quiet. PR spin, corporate denials, quiet settlements. They know the real danger isn't just bad headlines. It's customers waking up. But it's not just foreign markets. Even franchise owners here in the US are sounding the alarm, and many of them are on the brink of collapse. Coming up next, how Domino's corporate model is crushing small business owners, forcing them into impossible choices that affect everything from employee wages to food quality. You might think owning a Domino's franchise is a dream job: financial freedom, a known brand, and a slice of the billion-dollar pizza pie. But behind the smiling storefronts and late-night commercials is a story Domino's would rather you never hear. Because for many franchise owners, it's not a dream, it's a financial and emotional nightmare. Domino's operates on a franchise-heavy model. That means the majority of stores aren't run by corporate. They're owned by individuals and families who pay huge upfront fees, rent Domino's equipment, and follow strict corporate rules. But those rules, they come with impossible demands. Franchisees are required to hit specific targets: labor costs, food costs, speed of service, marketing contributions, and even the exact amount of toppings on a pizza. Miss too many benchmarks, and Domino's corporate can pull your license, charge penalties, or terminate your contract, even if you've sunk your life savings into the business. One former franchisee confessed, "I had to choose between cutting my staff's hours or failing my profit goal. If I failed, they threatened to shut me down." Others shared stories of being forced to use more expensive corporate suppliers, even when cheaper. Local options were available, just to keep the illusion of consistency. And when prices spike on ingredients, corporate doesn't always adjust their cost expectations. The owners eat the loss. Some owners have even filed lawsuits claiming Domino's pushes an unsustainable model that favors corporate profits while bleeding franchisees dry. In some areas, the average store owner makes less than a shift manager after overhead and fees. So when your pizza arrives cold or your toppings feel light, it might not be laziness, it might be a desperate attempt to survive in a system stacked against the people who risked everything to bring you dinner. But how does Domino's keep so many customers coming back despite all this? The answer lies in psychology, and in the next section, we're exposing how the menu itself is manipulating your mind. You probably think you're making your own choices when you order from Domino's, but what if I told you every click, combo, and price you see has been carefully engineered to steer your wallet without you even realizing it? Welcome to the world of psychological pricing, where Domino's has turned pizza into a mind game. Start with the app. It's slick, colorful, and loaded with deals that look too good to pass up. A $7.99 large pizza sounds amazing until you notice the fine print. Carry out only, no substitutions, and only on certain crusts. Want delivery? The price quietly jumps. Want extra cheese or change toppings? Suddenly, that deal becomes a full-priced order with hidden charges stacked in. Then there's the bundle bait, menus that offer meal deals with drinks and sides for a discounted price. But if you actually add up the individual items, you're often spending more than you would buying them separately. Domino's knows you're in a hurry, hungry, and likely distracted. That's when the manipulation works best. Color schemes and menu layout play a role too. Premium items are placed in the middle of the screen, right where your eyes land first. Suggested add-ons appear automatically, like lava cakes or stuffed cheesy bread, making you feel like you're just clicking yes on a small treat, when in reality you're adding $5 or more to your order without thinking twice. And the point system? It's designed to keep you loyal, but only rewards full-price purchases, not discounted ones. That means the more you chase points, the more you're pushed into paying extra. So next time you think you're getting a deal, ask yourself, who's really winning here? Speaking of deals, Domino's doesn't just manipulate menus, they also shape your perception of their brand. And many customers have no idea how much their personal data, reviews, and stories influence what Domino's chooses to fix or ignore. Coming up, we want to hear from you, because your Domino's experience might be part of a much bigger pattern. At this point, you've seen the dough deceptions, the fake cheese, the dangerous shortcuts, and the psychological traps. But what really brings this story to life is your story. Because behind every order is a person, someone who's had a good experience, a weird one, or maybe a flat-out disaster. So tell us, what's your Domino's moment? Have you ever received an undercooked pizza, an order that mysteriously vanished, a driver who looked like they hadn't slept in days? Or maybe you worked behind the scenes and saw something the rest of us never would. Drop it in the comments below. We're reading everyone, and trust me, you're not alone. This isn't just about calling out a company. It's about connecting the dots between what customers see and what they don't. Because your story could be the one that helps someone else open their eyes before placing their next order. And if you found this video eye-opening, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who still thinks Domino's is harmless. The more people we reach, the harder it becomes for these secrets to stay buried. Now let's wrap it up with a final truth you'll never forget. So what's the truth about Domino's? It's not just about pizza. It's about a system built on shortcuts, pressure, and manipulation. From dough that's more lab-tested than homemade, to cheese that may not be fully cheese, to meat filled with fillers and flavor enhancers, every bite is a compromise most people don't even realize they're making. Add to that the workers pushed past their limits, the franchisees drowning in debt, and the overseas scandals that paint a picture Domino's corporate never wants you to see. But this isn't about canceling a brand. It's about knowing the truth before you open the box. It's about asking harder questions about what we eat, who makes it, and what cost we're willing to accept for convenience. Domino's built an empire on the promise of fast, cheap, and easy. And maybe it is. But now you know what's been left off the label, hidden behind the screen, and buried in the back of the kitchen. The next time that doorbell rings with a pizza in hand, you'll remember more than the smell of melted cheese. You'll remember the pressure behind the scenes, the corners that got cut, and the people who paid the price to make it happen. So trust your instincts, stay informed, and remember, sometimes the biggest red flags come in a blue and white box.